Hey everybody, today we're going to turn this roll of leather into a wallet. Here's a pattern by Aaron Build Stuff. It's a little minimalist wallet. We're going to make it. So I have my pattern cut out here on some cardstock and the bend lines and some notes. What we're going to be using for this one is Wicket Craig, which is the medium brown panel from Buckle Guy. So this is that Wicket and Craig leather. It's rather beautiful, super shiny, vegetable tan. Struck all the way through with the die. This was split to 3.5 to 4 ounces after the fact, so it's from the factory dyed, and then at Buckle Guy they refinish it for you, which is pretty fantastic. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a bump jig up against that factory edge there. It seems pretty straight, so I don't have to worry about squaring it up. And cut it again. And I'm going to attempt to cut that pretty straight. Okay, so the instructions on this guy say to mark these fold lines here. These are 2 fold lines. Instructions say turn it so that the flesh side is up, or grain side down. And we should be able to just look at this pattern. I'm sort of dubious as to whether the fold lines are going to be all that necessary. We'll see. So the instructions state to fold and crease on this line. This looks creased to me on that line. You can sort of see this bit here that came from that scribe mark. Grab this bad boy. So we're pretty creased. The reason I was dubious about this scribing, like maybe this line was necessary, but in reality I don't care where this line creases here. I don't care where that crease line is, because what I want is this edge to land at this fold more than anything else. That has to be even, right? So if this is creased down, this edge needs to match to that point. I'm missing that crease line that I scribed because, like I said, I don't think I care about it, because I want this bit to match up to there. Or maybe I don't know. That's how I think it should work, though. So let's think about this order of operations a little bit too. So if we want nice clean burnished edges here, we're not going to be able to do that once we have this thing sewn up. Got backwards here. Okay, so no stitching here. So this is the way that the card works. How you hold it doesn't matter, but just for demonstration's sake. Yeah, so the wallet's like this. You have cards that go into here, and then this bit will be sewn all the way through, and then these 2 pieces here will be sewn through, and then you'll have a card slot here. Let's first start with the top part. I did not do a perfect job on that, so I'm going to hit this with a little. So what I'm using here is just some 320 grit sandpaper. And then I have some 400 Edge Beveler 5000. This is the Tandy Pro Edge Beveler. Really like it, but it's finicky in that it's so small. Works well. Okay, so I just have some Tokonol here and a little syringe because it makes applying things to these tiny edges a little bit easier. Yeah, Tokonol is something like gum trag, but what it has, like, I guess, a polymer in there, so it actually allows you to, almost any leather can sort of take a burnish because It's not just relying on the leather to close up the cells. It actually has a glue in it. Sort of like a glue, I guess. I don't. Leather is dyed through so well that I'm not too concerned about edge paint or something like that. But if you did want to get that like kind of old school look, you could paint these edges black. It'd be pretty cool, actually. Grab some wax here. None of these steps are actually required. Like if you're doing production runs of something like this, all these steps cost money and time and whatever. But it does add a super professional look to everything and feel. And eventually all these edges that get touched are going to get smooth, burnished, very well worn in. It's just a good feel to have something, out of the gate looking and feeling good. So the instructions tell you to punch the holes on this side, lightly on this side. So let's see, maybe we can clip this down. Grab my dividers here. These are set to, more than an eighth, less than 3/16. Make sure we're lined up. And then I'm gonna do the same. So we're stitching through on this side, and we are not stitching through all three layers. We need to stitch through these two. So I just have a little cutting board here to punch into. This is so we're punching through the entirety of this and then only partial of this side here. And so I'm going to rotate this around so that I'm working on, just because I'm right-handed. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give this, it's very cautious. I can't really put anything inside here to help protect it because I want everything flat while I'm punching it, since that's the way it's supposed to go together. Give this thing another whack. Okay, that's good. You see my tines are through here and I have impressions there. I think that works. This is not the easiest order of operations. First tine, sticking my first tine in that last hole, keep it lined up. Okay, and that ends there, and that's probably the last stitch I need. I'm just gonna really lightly hit this, and then we can fix it later. But I don't want to go through anything. When you get to 2 of these, you really can send it through pretty good. Now that this is open up, I can finish these stitch holes. So I have this little tool. We got some standard issue barge. A couple of these laying around. They're pretty nice for this sort of situation. This is contact cement. So barge is, I guess they make it for shoemakers or something like that. Any contact cement that you buy at a store will work just fine here. Put it on your project, you let it dry or tack up. Okay, yeah, so the camera ran out of batteries. Not my day-to-day with technology. Looks like our glue is tacky, dry to the touch. Dry looking but tacky. It's described a lot of different ways, but it's time to put it together. Carefully line up everything, and then you sort of just commit. I'm going to commit to one side only. This side's still open. It's not glued. And then any unevenness that we can't control during this process can be handled later sanding. So I'm just lining it up and then putting it together. Okay, and so we're open there, but closed, and then this side we will do our best to make straight as well. this side, and remember this is going to stay open, but this side will be 100% closed. And so I figured I would wait until I had the thing together to put my remaining stitches in. So I'm going to count these, and I'm not really counting. I'm counting 1 chisel, 2 chisels plus 1. And so I'm going to do the same here, just trying to line it up to this set of holes here without measuring, because I don't know, I have 10 rulers around me and I don't want to pick any of them up. Call me lazy. I think I'm going to go with this black thread. I think that's going to be what we go with. So we're using some John James needles here. They're blunt-ish. This is Ritza Tiger thread. Really good stuff. It's a waxed nylon thread. It's a really good wax to it. Really glides through the leather pretty easy. Pretty simple to use. Generally speaking, you want to run 4 times your length. We're going through 3 plies of 3.5 ounce leather. So what you would do is you would say, okay, I need 4 times the width of this. And so if I do 4 of those between 2 needles, it's just not enough. So I'm just going to go with, I don't know, 6 times or something like that. So Chuck Dorset on Weaver Leather Supplies YouTube channel is a great tutorial. That's the word I'm looking for, tutorials. But basically what I've got is I've got needle, piece of thread through it, and then on the other end it's identical. I'm going to start with this side because it's the most different. And I'm going to start on this top edge. So I'm going to stick my needle through, but remember we don't have, it's going to be a little bit on the difficult side, I think. So I'm going to stick one end through. We're going to equalize our thread out so that it's the same length. This camera angle, still working on this whole thing. This isn't the best camera angle to probably show you stitching, but it is what it is. Okay, so what we have is we just have our loop through, and we're just going to do a basic saddler stitch, which is, like I said, this is going to be a little bit weird because we're working inside here, but we're going to take this side and go over and through, find the hole, and take this left side that's already on the inside and go into that same hole that that needle's in, which is might be a little difficult here. Okay, this might not work this way. All right, so I'm going to pull this guy through. Hang off the edge here. So not having the needle in there gave me some space. One thing to look at, jump back in here and explain something, is the tension. So as you're tensioning your thread, we're only working with 2 plies here, and it's pretty supple leather. If we over tension it, what you'll get is zigzaggy. And so every once in a while, what I like to do is go pull this way. It'll tighten it, but keep everything sort of straight. Okay, and as we come down to our last stitch, there's a couple things we could do. We can back stitch a couple times, and then we'll have to figure out how to tie and glue back here, which I think will work pretty well. Or we can actually just tie it inside here and sort of leave it alone. It'll be tied like right into that joint there. If I point with the needle here, so let's give that a shot. So what we're going to do is, then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, inside there, I'll tie a knot. So let's see how this looks. Tie a square knot. Zappy Doodah. All right, same drill. I'm going to start at the top here. Start at the top, equalize the threads, and so we've equalized the threads, and now we're just going to do a basic saddler stitch. So easier to show you what one of those are here is same stitch that we were doing before, but because we're not complicating it with this, we can now cross our needles through. And what this does is it eliminates you from puncturing the thread while in the hole. So yeah, what do we do with this stitching here? I think a back stitch or two, and then we're just going to end it on this side, I think. So that's that as far as stitching goes. We're going to snip these off. So it's time to address these edges, and I was able to finish this top bit. And so what I want to do is knock this edge over, give it sanding to make it more even, and then perhaps try to address this edge. What I'll do is I'm going to take and bevel this edge here. It's just not the easiest of configurations to really bevel because it's all bendy. And I am, it's pretty uneven here. So I might take a Dremel to it. It's all flat now. Looks like it was actually meant to be, which is nice. 400 grit sandpaper. So like last time, we're gonna take some Tokonol. And I'm gonna use the big groove. Kind of see what that edge looks like. It's sort of glassy smooth. Hit it with a little beeswax. It's feeling pretty good. Now for this edge. I think what I'm going to do for this edge is I'm not going to bother edge beveling it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it with my 400 grit sandpaper. Alright, so I'm going to hit this just with the bone folder. This wallet is, or this leather, this Wicket and Craig is pretty firm, but then soft right away. Like this feels like a broken in wallet, which is pretty cool. So let's load it up. I have a bunch of gift cards here, and we'll see what we can fit. So I typically carry 3 cards at the ready in my wallet. So let's just load up 3 cards in here. 3 cards fit down in there. Probably a little too tall. When we marked the folds, we only really needed to mark this inside fold, and that sort of dictates the height of the wallet because the other fold, doesn't matter. So when you look here, it ends up being what it is. Let's see. So that's 3 cards in here. I have 7 more here. Let's see if that fits. So that's 10 cards loaded up. If you wanted 10 cards, it fits pretty good actually. It's pretty slim. My current wallet is right here. So it's about the same, maybe a slightly smaller. Point at the camera. So 3 cards. 7 cards. Comfortably. like that's not broken in. I do wish that this corner was clipped. Pretty decent wallet, pretty easy. I'd say without filming it and worrying about that sort of thing, I could have easily done this in an hour. Once I get the order of operations down, I mean, I could batch these out, like, because you can do all the pattern cutting at once and then do all the burnishing, pre-burnishing that you can do at once. And sort of if you batch it out like that, you could probably end up making these pretty efficiently. So there you have it. That's making the simple, I think it's called the Simple Card Wallet from Aaron Build Stuff. This pattern, I think they're a couple bucks on his Etsy store or something like that. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.